Hey everybody, welcome to Bad Relationship Advice with Damien and Monica. And this week we're going to be continuing our series on limerence. Monica, how's it going?
Good. I'm actually happy to introduce a guest today on our show whose name is Dmitri. Hi, Dmitri.
Hi.
You live in Wales? After
Yeah, I
having...
live in Wales now. I'm originally from California.
Dimitri's a
you're going...
PhD in musicology, and he's going to tell us his story.
Yes.
So what's your experience with limerence, Dmitri?
Well, so many really. But there's one in particular that really stands out because I feel like in so many ways it kind of like matches the description of limerence so perfectly. This woman that I used to work with, named, I'll call her Alice. Yeah, I became like really, really infatuated with her, and we got to be like pretty good friends, really. And we would spend a fair amount of time hanging out at like a local bar. It was a really popular spot. We had a lot of friends who went there, and I had told her, kind of early on, that I was like interested in her, and she told me, pretty straight up that she liked me, but she just wanted to be friends. That she was attracted to like sexually aggressive guys and like the bad boy type, and that I wasn't really her type.
Did you try to become the type?
I did. I'm sorry to say, like it's not really my style to be like that. But I thought, yeah, well, I really want to get her interested in me, so maybe that's what I got to do.
Right.
That's what all these other people do.
Well, and I wonder how much of that was even conscious, too.
I tend to overthink a lot.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of it was sort of conscious.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'd never really hung out at bars before.
Uh-huh.
But suddenly I thought, I think I'll just go to the bar tonight. With the idea that, maybe she'll be there.
So you found excuses to run into her?
Yeah, even after I stopped working at that job, which was I think I worked there with her for close to a year. And then I quit and I got another job, better paying one, and so on. But even after that, I would sometimes, it's my day off. I think I'll just go up to downtown and see if she's working and maybe, have a conversation. Or maybe she'll be outside smoking a cigarette and we can chat for a minute.
Did you find yourself analyzing a lot of your interactions?
No, every single one of them. Like, we'd have, a brief conversation at work, and I would, like, keep playing it over and over in my head and go and tell my friend, and then she said, goodbye. And I was like, is that a sign?
Right. She's using common courtesy with me. It must mean something.
Yeah. She acknowledged my existence.
Right.
How did it make you feel?
Oh, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was always thinking about her. I was like really emotionally like pent up and really chaotic feeling about it, and like I couldn't get away from it, and I knew that it was stupid, and I knew that it was bad for me, but like I couldn't get away from it. And when we would like hang out as friends, sometimes we'd hang out at her place, at my place, or at the bar, or wherever. We'd go see a movie together, and the feeling I would get from that would be such a good feeling.
When you were with her, it was just like a high.
Yes, it was exactly like a high. And then, after a day or so, it would start to wear off, and then I would really feel like I was coming down from like a drug binge. It was just like plunging into the black hole, like I was wrapped up in barbed wire or something.
Did it cause you to doubt yourself? I mean, did you ask like why is this, why does she not like me? Why were you thinking those thoughts?
Oh yeah, I felt like I completely failed as a male.
Oh.
And it was kind of made worse because like, she went out with a lot of guys. Like she didn't have a very. Neither of us were in very good spaces in our lives, to be honest. And she went out with a lot of guys. She would get involved with like these, bad boy types, and then they would disrespect her. They would piss her off. They'd get into big fights, and she'd break up with them. And then she would like tell me about them because I was like her guy friend confidant.
Yeah. A wonderful position for you to be in, right?
Oh, even worse, because as it turned out, I actually knew a lot of these guys. And because they would see her and I hanging out together, like at the bar all the time, they would think that I could give them some like secret knowledge
Oh
about
gosh.
how they could get with her.
Like help them out.
Yeah. Or they would just want to talk to me about like how great she was in bed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and eventually I had to start telling them, don't fucking talk to me about her.
Yeah.
I don't want to know how good she is.
Right.
Just
I mean, you
off.
did want to know, but not that way.
No, not at all that way.
Yeah.
Did you have fantasies of, your interaction with her, whether like when you're maybe performing like a heroic act to save her, or did you have any of those kind of fantasies?
I did kind of have feelings of like, oh, maybe I can be that one guy who like treats her decently enough that she'll see me as like a relief from all these assholes that keep out.
Right. She'll realize what a great guy you are, and
Yeah, I mean it's such a cliche.
yeah, but I mean that's why it happens. And by the way, what was the total duration of this period in your life?
We carried on like this as friends for about 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And so how did you end up moving past it?
Well, finally, at one point, like I was so twisted around it that I just decided I had to do something that would just like completely break any connection we had. So I called her up and I was like, hey, those things that I loaned you, that books and that CD, whatever, can you bring them back? And so she came over and she brought them back. And then after she left, I called her again and I left her like a voicemail where I just kind of tore into her about like her shitties and men and, told her, if you don't want guys to treat you like that, maybe you should, be more careful about how you present yourself. And it was kind of ugly. It wasn't exactly untrue, but it was pretty ugly, and I felt really ashamed of myself afterward.
Right, you kind of spoke from this place of frustration where you'd been dealing with this for quite a while and just kind of came all out.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, I don't even have a chance of being like the guy that treats her decently, because look what I just did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it actually ended with feeling a little bit angry at her, like why why couldn't you see this?
Yeah. Well, and also kind of, it was that it was anger at her because she was kind of an asshole too.
Yeah.
Like I have to be fair. Like I was horrible, but she was horrible also.
Okay.
We're gonna have to wrap up soon, so I just want to ask, what helped you actually get past it? Because you mentioned confronting her, but I'm just wondering, did that help you get over it, or?
That was the start of getting over it, because then after that, like, anytime either of us would randomly see each other, like on the street or anything, we just would avoid each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, like, I moved to a different city.
Okay.
I started going to university, and that helped a lot, because I wasn't around, all the spots we used to hang out. I didn't see any of the people that we both knew or anything like that. And
so it was just kind of like the no contact.
Time and distance.
Yeah, like cold turkey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Dmitri, is there anything lastly you'd like to mention before we end? Something else that
that's
your experience?
Yeah, well, one really significant part of it that made it like really, really weird for me and really difficult was how, like about 6 months into it, I started dreaming about her, like really, really regularly, like every 3 weeks, sometimes twice a month. Sometimes in the dreams, like she'd be telling me stuff about like her life or her family or whatever, that then later in conversation, she would kind of tell me herself in person. And it felt like we had this weird supernatural, almost occult connection through my dreams. Like, as if she was visiting me, like, on the astral plane and some crap like that.
Wow. Did you
But I
ever
did
tell her
find-
that you were dreaming of her?
I did, yeah, a couple times, actually. And, of course, she completely denied knowing anything about it. Like,
Mhm.
what else would she say? And that made me feel like I was becoming, like, dissociative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I becoming schizophrenic over this?
Right.
Almost like you're kind of losing your sense of reality. So
Mhm.
what was the last time that you had any dreams?
Well, after we broke up or whatever that was, then they started tapering off. But it took years, and that's kind of how I like gauged how far I've moved past that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had like 2 dreams about her recently, a couple of weeks ago, but that was the first time I've had any in about 2 years. And yeah, so they've like tapered off like that.
Any advice for people who go through this?
Don't fall in love, kids. Love is bad.
Don't get limerence. All right.
Yeah, I'd like to encourage people to fall in love, but not this. This is not love.
No.
Well, it sounds like it was not a wonderful experience, full of highs and lows. But I'm sure you're glad that it's over.
I am, yeah.
All right, well, Dmitri,
Okay.
we really appreciate you being with us on the show today and talking about your experience with Limerence.
Yeah, no problem. I'm sort of glad to do it.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
definitely glad to have you. Okay, we'll see you
Thank
next
you,
time
Dmitri.
on Bad Relationship Advice. This is Damien and Monica.